Standing up, almost pulling myself to a standing position, like just trying to reach for the croutons. I was like, okay, well, here's the lettuce, here's the dressing. There are totally different spots. I looked down and it was like, it feels like 3 days have passed, but it's only been like 20 minutes. And it was like, there's so many people walking around, and it was like, if I just realized that, if I paused for a second, and I just realized how many people would be willing to help me if I just stopped for a second and swallowed my pride and be like, there are so many things that I could be using my time for, using my motivation, using my energy, and I have a lot of it. And most of it was being used to push myself around, lift myself up, reach for things. It's like I could save so much time if I just asked for help. But in my head, I was like, no, you better not ask for help. Don't give up. Don't ask for help. I was like, wait, this isn't a sign of weakness. It's like I'm not giving up. I'm not throwing in the towel. It's a salad. Relax, Jane. And I was like, and then I saw one of my football friends. I was like, hey, you mind helping me make a salad? It's like, no. What do you want? So I was telling him what I wanted, and we had lunch together. I was like, geez, 20 minutes of trying to make a salad, and it took me that long to realize that it was okay to ask for help. But you'd find it funny that it took me that long to realize that I needed to ask for help. But that one moment when I tried to make a salad, it was one of the biggest transformations in my life, because I had to realize that it was okay to ask for help, and that it wasn't a sign of weakness, and that it was okay to use my energy for more important things, to become a better person, to be okay with asking for help, to just work on being a stronger self-advocate, a better person to other people, instead of saying, oh, I don't need help, I'm just going to do it myself. It was like, it's not a waste of time, because you should be independent. You should try to do things on your own. But when you need help, there are people that are ready to help you. You just have to know when to ask. And yeah, I forgot to put the Caesar dressing on, but that's okay. I mean, it's like I had that one moment that was like, okay, I'm going to set the tone for the rest of my college career. And then I transferred to Stonehill, and I already had friends there on the basketball team, so it was a very easy transition. And I was on the disability committee, and we did a whole audit of the campus and made a lot of the doors and places accessible. And it was a lot because of me and a lot of the work that I did to make that happen. And it's just a great feeling to be able to have that moment where you have an epiphany and be like, oh, really? It's that easy just to ask for help? And yeah, it is. And it was a cross between when I was growing up, like I said, my parents and my brother and my whole family was just pushing me to be motivated and do things for myself. But the self-advocacy piece, the thing that made me realize that it was okay to ask for help, that didn't come from my family. That was a decision, that was a change in my own mindset. Maybe I took the motivation a little bit too far, and I had to be easier on myself. And it was like, if I try to do everything on my own, then I'm going to be tired by the time I get back to my room, and I'm not going to have any energy to do anything else, and I'm just going to go to bed. So it's like people have all this energy to do things, but you have to know when to use it and when to be gentle on yourself. It's like, especially somebody who has to push themselves in a wheelchair and has to use their arms and has to put forward all this energy to just move. And it was like, me and my brother used to bond over going to the gym, and it was just a great experience because we used to just push each other, and he used to just help me do like everything that he did. And my brother was a 6'4", 245-pound rugby player, so he was a big kid, and he was just like, I was blessed with a person that was physically able to help me do things, and he and my family really put me over the top, and I am who I am today because of the support I received. And my brother, he went to St. Anselm College up in New Hampshire, and when we were in different spots in our lives, he would, be at school telling everybody, look at what my brother's doing. Like, he's at college just like everybody else. He's being successful just like everybody else. He plays basketball on a semi-professional wheelchair basketball team. So even if we weren't together, he was telling people about my accomplishments. And just, even though we weren't together all the time, and he was away at college, I was away at college, it just told me that I was supported and people were proud of me. It was like, that's one of the things that get you through life, is knowing that you belong to a group, knowing that you belong to a group of friends, knowing that you have that support. I heard one time with another speaker, this was a few weeks ago, she was telling us a story about her son who has autism, and he struggles to make friends, I guess. And she was doing research for her talk, and she said, if you have that sense of belonging, it adds 10 years onto your life. And you just feel like you belong to a group. You feel like you should be there, other than feeling like an outcast. And that's very important to a person with a disability, because, like I said, it might feel like you're personally held back from things, or that you shouldn't be involved in a group because you might have to do things a little differently. But having a person like my brother, having that support system, I didn't feel like I was held back from doing anything, or that I shouldn't be a part of a group. And then even when my brother wasn't there, I had the confidence and the mind to do that on my own. I was able now to take what I learned from emulating my brother and emulating my family. I was like, okay, I'm on my own now, but I could do it. And you don't get anywhere without a solid foundation. You can't build a house without the foundation. And when I was in my senior year of college, it's a tough transition for anybody. And I was in my room, and I was about to get ready for class, go get my usual coffee with my friend, and came back, and my parents were in the parking lot. And he was like, Jane, we gotta go to the hospital. And I was like, why? He was like, we'll try to tell you in the car, but we gotta go to the hospital. And I was like, okay. And it turns out the night before, my brother was out with his friends, and coming back from rugby practice, and he flipped the car and passed away. It was like, that was the worst day of my life. Because like, if you have that person, if you have that support for 22 years of your life, and it just somehow just goes away, you don't want to do anything. All that motivation, all that stuff that was established before, you just want to curl up in a ball and not do anything. That's not the kind of person my brother was. That's not the kind of person that I am. And if I took all that stuff that we had built, that foundation of the house that is me right now, like the person I am, if I took all that foundational stuff, all that support, all that motivation, all that things that he gave me, and just said, okay, now this big life-changing event happened in my life, and now I'm just going to stop. I wouldn't be here right now if I stopped. You know, in my senior year, a lot of things change. You know, you go through phases in your life. You know, I had 4 years of a great college experience. It made me who I am. I have a lot of great friends from my college experience. And you're doing this whole transition phase about going to a different spot in your life. And then you're also, for me, you're also dealing with that. It's a lot. But for me, I couldn't stop doing what I was doing. I couldn't stop because it would just ruin everything that I am, everything that I stand for, everything that I worked to build myself. It would just not, all that stuff wouldn't be worth it. And, you know, my brother, he worked in the hospital with my mom. He was a transport aide, and he brought people on the beds from floor to floor to get their treatments and stuff. He was one of the most compassionate people that, you know, you ever want to meet. And he would bend over backwards to see everybody happy. And it showed in a way that he, you know, wanted to be the best person for me, and he wanted to be the best person for every person he came in contact with. He just wanted to make life better for everybody that he came in contact with. And it showed throughout his personality. And he was just the person that, you know, lit up the room when he walked in. And his personality was contagious. Because the way that we grew up and the way that people saw him with me, it was like, oh, if Dan can be that way with Jamie, then I can be that way with Jamie. And he was just one of the most compassionate people that I've ever had the privilege of not only being his brother, but just knowing him gave me the most confidence that I could ever ask for. But the point of the story isn't about me. It's about how do you take, you know, hardships in your life, that one life-changing moment about making a salad. How do you take that and just have the motivation, have the courage to just keep jumping over these hurdles? Whatever it is in your life, I don't care what it is. Whether you have a disability or whether you don't. Like, the bottom line is that everybody has something that they struggle with. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if you struggle to color in between the lines when you